Okay. Can I ask you a couple questions real quick?
Sure.
Are you like an atheist, a skeptic, or a Muslim?
I'm an atheist.
You're an atheist. Okay. All right.
Is that it?
Yeah, I just didn't know if you wanted. Well, if you're an atheist, you're not really here to talk about the Bible, are you?
Well, I'm here to ask questions.
Okay. I hope I can answer them.
Yeah, and it's fine if you can't. A lot of people like don't understand that it's okay to not have an answer to a question. So if you can't answer, that's okay.
Yeah.
So my question is, um, do you believe that the Christian God is fair?
Fair and just. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's fair and just in his ways. Sometimes maybe like for example, like his ways is not our ways, so we sometimes can't see the overall picture of things and such as that. Um, so I think he's just and fair in that fashion. So can I ask you a question back, though?
Mm-hmm.
What is your rule of method of authority to determine what's fair and what isn't?
Um, I think that's a good question. I guess it's hard to define fairness. I would just say like when something is unfair, I can kind of spot it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a great answer for it. I feel like you can kind of tell intuitively when something's fair and when something's not fair.
And so let me just make sure. So by that, are you saying it's kind of like you're the standard, what you do determine?
No, I think there's like an objective morality to it. Like, it's hard to put a one sentence definition on it, but like intuitively with your moral compass, you can tell what's fair and what's not fair.
Okay. Well, I guess I just don't understand where you're getting this moral compass. Is it you who determines it? Is it
Oh,
society or
I
what?
would say it's a mix of me. It's a mix of societal norms, um, how I've been brought up, like my childhood, what my beliefs are. It's a mix of a lot of things.
So is it subject to change?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Um, so I wanted to ask you because, and this is out of pure ignorance. I'm not trying to like be argumentative. I just genuinely don't know. Um, I've heard a lot of Christians talk about the curse of Eve. Do you know what I'm referring to?
What? What'd you call it?
The curse of Eve.
Are you talking about where when they sinned about her childbirth was going to be increased?
Um, that yes, but increase is not the word I would use. What I've learned personally, and I may be wrong, was that the punishment was that her childbirth would be more painful.
Well, okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong.
What do you have a Bible? Even though you would consider yourself an atheist, do you still have a Bible? I mean, sometimes atheists have Bibles.
Yeah, I have one in the house. I just don't have one within reach, but I have my computer in front of me. I could Google a verse.
Well, it says to the woman, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and the desire shall be thy husband. So,
Yeah, increase of sorrow.
it might be good to get a different one just to see how it is worded as well. So, what is your point, though?
My point is, I was just gonna ask, um, if the interpretation is correct, if other Christians believe that, and also if the answer is yes, then like I don't understand how that could be fair. Like if the interpretation is that like the punishment is for all women to come, then how is that fair if I didn't do anything? You know what I mean?
Well, she did. She disobeyed. Like
Yeah,
for
but that was her, then not me. You know what I mean?
okay, well, there's consequences for things when we do other things. Like for example, have you ever heard maybe like maybe a mom is an addict on drugs and she has a child and the child didn't do anything, but
Mm-hmm.
there are consequences for what the mother did, and now the baby has to suffer the consequences.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that's
Is
what
that
we're
fair? Like, I would say that's not fair.
okay. But there's still consequences for our actions, and it's fair that he gives us free will. And when we choose to do things like that, that is his nature by giving us free will.
I can see that. I guess my question would be that if Eve is the one that sinned, why am I the one that has to suffer? Like, I get the analogy about the mom and the baby, but
Yeah.
like I would say that it's not fair that the baby has to suffer. And so like why would it be fair that I have to suffer if Eve did what she did?
I guess I guess the difference is the doctrine of free will,
Hmm.
meaning that we cause a lot of this and we blame God. For example, do you believe it's wrong to unalive people for their um, race or their ethnic group?
Yes.
Okay. Why do you believe that's wrong when society at one point in time has chosen that it was not wrong, and that's the rule of of how we get our
Hmm.
moral compasses is
I
a
believe that society's norms can change. Like, for example, like hundreds of years ago, like things like slavery were normalized, and people thought it was fair, and people thought it was good. And then now society has changed, where that narrative has shifted, and now people think that it's not good and it's not fair. And so, like, I think the unaliving of someone based on those prejudices is unfair, even though society used to, because I think social norms change. Um,
but at
yeah.
that time is what I'm asking. At that time,
Hmm.
it was okay for that society to do those things.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, see
Well,
that.
no, like, let me rephrase. I think it was never okay, but I will agree that society sometimes thought that they could justify it.
Okay, but now if you was raised in that society, you would be right along with them doing what they were doing.
I have no idea what I would do in that time.
Okay, but by your belief, if you still held your belief that you stated that society is the one that can determine right and wrong,
Hmm.
when the Nazis were doing what they were doing, and the law of the land said that that was okay, you would be right there with them supporting that. And see, I would say that they were doing wrong.
I would say that I have no idea of knowing if that would be true because everyone has different ideas of what's good and wrong. Like, for example, the Nazis thought what they were doing was good, and people who opposed the Nazis thought that what they were doing was wrong. And so, like, there is no objective right and wrong. It's just like what people's personal morals are. And my personal moral for this day and age is that unaliving someone based on those prejudices would be unfair. But I have no idea if I would think the same thing if I lived back in the day. I
Okay.
just have no way of knowing.
Okay. Yeah. So have you always been like a skeptic atheist?
Yeah, I would say so. If you want to know about my background, I was raised religiously. So I've studied the Bible before, I've studied the Talmud before. I've been to both Jewish schools and Christian schools, and kind of throughout my entire life, I've never been able to believe.
Well, I'm going to see if this one gentleman wants to come on. If he does, I just want to see if he is a skeptic or atheist, real quick. Him?
Hi.
Hey,
Bible tells us that there is only one way that we can void our salvation.
hey, Tim. Tim,
What?
are you consider yourself an atheist or skeptic?
No.
Okay, just hang on just a second. Hey, Fran.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, can you follow me? And because you've been one of the nicest individuals that are an atheist, you hadn't come on and started cussing, and you allow me to speak, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna follow you. Can you follow me? I wanna discuss with you a little bit more at a different time.
Yeah, sure.
Kind of shorthanded as far as time, and I want to at least talk to some people about the Bible instead of trying to talk to people about proving that it is the Word of God.
No worries, no worries.
Okay.
Do you want me to stay on here or do you want me to dip?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to debate you.
Well, you can go. Fran, if you want to go to my YouTube channel, I had a debate with an atheist, very nice gentleman.